July 20th, 1973, 10:30 p.m. An ambulance speeds through Hong Kong on its way to Queen Elizabeth General Hospital. But this is no ordinary emergency. Inside the vehicle is one of the biggest stars of the day, Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee's already become the biggest martial arts star, in fact, the biggest movie star in all of Hong Kong. He's really on the steps of becoming a worldwide phenomenon.
His movie Enter the Dragon is about to be released, the first to combine martial arts with spy elements, and expectations are high.
He had to be at the absolute top of his game for the filming of Enter the Dragon. He insisted that the fight scenes be as authentic as possible, which meant that essentially the fighting was real and incredibly physically taxing.
His next film, Game of Death, is an even more ambitious film. Bruce Lee is not only starring and choreographing the fights in this film, but he's also moving into the director's chair.
He's bringing new techniques to film. He's doing things that are creative. He's doing things that haven't been seen before. He's really charting new territory.
No matter the movie, Bruce Lee is this larger-than-life character. He seems completely indestructible, and here he is on this day lying in an ambulance without a pulse.
Upon arrival, they initiate resuscitation procedures. They're injecting chemicals into his heart. They're using defibrillator pads to try to bring him back, but nothing is working.
Bruce's wife, Linda, she arrives at the hospital to see them doing resuscitation on Bruce. They're trying desperately to restart his heart. No matter what they do, he remains flatlined.
It's just after 11:30 p.m. when the news leaks. Hong Kong's favorite son, Bruce Lee, is dead at the age of 32.
There is no official announcement, although journalists have a sense that something is up, so they've started to gather and they're demanding answers. So his business partner, Raymond Chow, puts together a brief statement. He says that Bruce Lee was out walking in his garden with his wife when he suddenly collapsed and was rushed to the hospital.
But Lee's fans find this story hard to believe.
Around 15,000 of his devastated fans take to the street, and it's utter pandemonium. Police are forced to restrain the crowd.
Everyone's asking how a man so fit and powerful could die so suddenly.
The hospital states that Bruce Lee died from cerebral edema, which is swelling of the brain, in which the pressure becomes too great, and then physical functions begin to shut down.
When the brain fills up with too much fluid, what will happen is it will first start to expand, and then it gets stuck against the skull, which is very firm. If you have this situation where the brain is starting to crush downwards onto the brainstem, that's the part that controls all of your bodily functions, like your heartbeat, your breathing. And if it is caught in time, there are things you can do to reverse it. But if it's not caught in time, it is lethal.
The initial autopsy suggests that his brain swelled past the capacity of his body. It was actually 13% larger than what a normal brain is supposed to be, which is incredibly dangerous.
Swelling of the brain is known as the cause for Bruce Lee's death. But the real question is, what caused that swelling of the brain?
As rumors continue to swirl around Lee's cause of death, the spotlight turns on the woman Bruce Lee was with on the night he died, Lee's mistress, Betty Ting Pei.
The press is fascinated by the relationship between Bruce Lee and Betty Ting Pei. When they meet on the set of Way of the Dragon in 1972, they quickly become romantically linked.
He certainly wasn't trying to be discreet about their relationship. People observed them out in public together, and that led a lot of people to believe that he was having an extramarital affair.
Bruce Lee's connection with Betty Ting Pei is definitely scandalous because he's married to Linda Lee, and he has 2 small children. Of course, that puts Linda in a very uncomfortable position.
In December 1972, Bruce Lee supposedly tries to cut off ties with Betty. She's so distraught that she swallows a handful of sleeping pills and is rushed to Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
Betty recovers, But from that point on, her relationship with Bruce becomes increasingly strained. She is upset that he won't leave his wife. She is reportedly consumed by jealousy, and maybe she thinks if she can't have him, nobody else can either.
So there are some theories that start to circulate that perhaps someone has purposely killed him. And of course, the obvious person becomes Betty Ting Pei. She's the other woman. She's taking him away from his family and his wife. So they start to run with this theory that perhaps she was the jealous lover and that potentially she might have poisoned him.
And they say there's reason to believe she tried it before.
There are rumors that Betty has been laying the groundwork for this for months.
There's no actual proof of this. There's no sign of anything toxic in Bruce's bloodstream. But people still believe that she may have used some substance that wouldn't have shown up on a toxicology report because she comes from a family of doctors.
The other strange thing is the timeline of all of this. When she realizes that he's unconscious, he's unresponsive, why doesn't she call emergency services? Instead, she calls Raymond Chow.
By calling the manager instead of immediately calling an ambulance, she's losing precious time. He needs immediate medical attention.
Even though she repeatedly denies any wrongdoing, the news media continues to publish story after story implicating her.
The public response to this is highly negative. Students in Malaysia are marching around with signs saying, "Betty killed Bruce." In August 1973, Hong Kong police receive a bomb threat. They go to investigate, but they don't find a bomb. They find a suspicious package. Inside's a note saying, "Betty knows the cause of Bruce's death."
There's no evidence of foul play, but that doesn't prevent the greater public from continuing to find different stories that they want to believe in terms of Bruce Lee's demise. And so this hastens the speculation that someone is involved in some kind of conspiracy to kill Bruce Lee. The most obvious person would have been Betty Ting Pei.
There's also speculation that Betty might not have acted alone.
Going back to those chaotic hours following Bruce Lee's death, one has to wonder why his business partner and confidant, Raymond Chow, put out a statement about where he died that was so easily disproven.
Part of the story that Raymond leaves out when he creates that false narrative is the fact that he was also there when Bruce was at Betty's apartment.
After Bruce Lee first stops breathing, Betty summons Raymond Chow to her apartment. When he gets there, Raymond Chow inexplicably tells Betty not to call an ambulance. He tells her to call instead her personal physician.
Raymond had seen Bruce suffer a similar episode just 2 months prior, so he knew he would have to get medical treatment right away in order to reverse the condition. So it's very strange that he would wait so long to get urgent care for him.
It's not until 10:30 at night that the ambulance arrives to take him away. By that time, it's already too late.
For many, the question remains, was the delay a willful decision?
Around the time of his death, Bruce Lee's relationship with business partner Raymond Chow reportedly started to fracture. When they formed their production company, Concord Productions, in 1972, they initially had a 50-50 split between the two of them. But by summer of 1973, Bruce Lee is working on an independent film, and he is reportedly threatening to walk away from Chow altogether.
Given the level of money that Bruce Lee is generating at the box office, with Bruce Lee out of the picture, Raymond Chow has a lot to gain.
If you add together Raymond Chow's financial interests and Bruce Lee's work, and the fact that they might be disagreeing on the future of how they collaborate, this starts to look really fishy. Like, was this intentional?
Betty and Raymond Chow are both cleared, but people still believe in a murder conspiracy, this time with just a different set of suspects.